Hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I just deleted the things. Whoopsies.
But you brought
That's
it
a
back,
good start.
and that's what matters. If you don't
That's
like
right,
my
it's
drawings, you can just tell me, man.
And, I thought that what you had going on was just pure dog shit, and I just wanted to start it all over.
I like that your standards are. Oh, Leviathan Den just subscribed.
We just got a poop in the
6
chat.
months,
We're apart.
Leviathan Den. Wow, that's half a year if you if you know how time works.
What the frickety frack? How much money? That means we got not. I'm not even gonna count the money. They say it's
not
impolite
about
to
the
count the
money.
money. Yeah, you don't count your chips at the table. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them,
Know when to walk
when to
away.
sprint.
Know when to open up your own chicken restaurant.
That's right.
We appreciate it, Leviathan Den. You're awesome.
Yeah, much
Thanks for always
appreciated, man.
supporting us.
You're a very supportive fella. Always there. Always saying hi. Always, just checking in on us. We appreciate
You're
it.
keeping us afloat, like you do with a lot of people when you build pools.
That's right. Well, technically, he can help them sink. It's the
Oh,
flotation
yeah.
devices that keep them afloat.
Look, you're splitting hairs here. It was a reach. I understand that.
Just wanted to say he technically has the power to drown those same people if he wanted to.
He holds
just,
a lot of power
made
in
the-
his hands.
He just needs to make that water heavier, and then they'll sink. Like, what's that? Like, what the Dead Sea where everything floats on it because it's like full of salt.
It's very salty.
Take all that salt out, and then I guess you get pulled right down.
Just gotta remove all that salt. That's not a difficult process.
No, not at all. It's super easy.
Desalination.
That's the word.
That's the word.
It is the word. You know what else is the word?
What's the word?
The bird.
Bird is the word.
Yeah.
Got it. Forgot
But
about that.
strictly in a surfing context.
Most of the birds I'm familiar with don't surf, but they're not.
No, I've never seen a dang bird surf in my life.
But that's why.
Maybe in cartoons.
That's why it's something that you haven't heard about. That's why he's asking if you have heard.
Oh, have you heard the word about the bird that surfs?
Yeah.
And then someone's
like, did you have head trauma? Why'd you say it like that? But that's cool that a bird's surfing. That's wild.
And then the guy says, I didn't have head trauma. Uma mau mau baba umau mau mau. Yeah.
He definitely had head trauma. Call the ambulance.
Oh my god, this man is losing it. Oh jeez.
Leviathan Den says, got my vaccine finally, but congratulations. But getting finally a hold of all the MF Doom vinyl albums has made up for the fever in spades. That's awesome. Congratulations on that as well.
Congratulations on your purchase.
Accomplishing all sorts of things.
Yeah, look at you, buddy. Buddy old pal.
It's great.
What am I?
Great noise.
Oh, I got
You have
very
troubles?
nice. Yeah, it's just my is being a little geometric with my lines. I'm kind of feel like I'm getting some. Normally my draw pile operates smooth as silk, and right now it's operating. There we go. I just had to close
Rusty
iTunes.
sandpaper.
Just can't listen to music while we're doing this thing. I guess.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Buy them. I'm gonna try anyways.
Yeah, you should.
I can play fucking Fall Guys while I listen to music. I can draw and draw pile. But
Exactly.
it does have a noticeable effect on the line quality though. Wow, that is something. I don't know if that's an iTunes problem or a draw pile problem.
That circle had corners.
It did. It had a lot of corners.
So, it's another episode. How have you been, Ian?
Sure is. I've been chilling, man. How about you?
Been good. Things have been good.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
What a fun conversation this has been.
I'm having fun. I don't know about you.
Are we having fun yet? That's the classic line.
So classic. From
I'm actually gonna
Ice
ask you.
Cubes. Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, that's right. Are we there yet?
I don't
And then
know.
he's like, "No, you damn kids."
And then a cop pulls him over and he's like, "Fuck the police." And he looks at the camera. Gives a knowing
And then
glance.
That's right. Have you ever seen those movies?
I think I saw the first one when it like came
Does that
out, which
happen
I was
in it?
fairly young at the time. No, definitely doesn't happen in it. It's like family friendly
Okay.
movie.
Well, I mean, not the, so much the fuck the police part, but do they like? Because I feel like even in like,
It's got to be some
in like
NWA
any,
references.
I know it's it's an NWA reference, but
No,
I also
I'm
feel
saying-
like in
oh,
like,
go ahead.
well, it's in any like family road trip movie. There's always like the moment where like the parental figure like has an emotional breakdown because like everything's going awry, and then
Yeah.
usually like the cop pulls him over, and it's like, "Excuse me, sir, did you know that you're going blah 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 blah?" I feel like that happens in National Lampoon.
It does, yeah.
I feel like that happens in. I don't know. I don't actually watch a whole lot of road trip movies now that I think about it.
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember anything from the movie.
Is that like you mentally blotted it out?
I
Or
don't.
you
I don't
just-
think so. I don't think. I'm not saying it's like good or bad. It's just it wasn't. I never
Didn't stick
saw
in
it
your
the
mind.
second time, and I saw it when I was younger. So I don't really recall anything about it. I believe they do get there wherever there is,
They get there. Okay, well, that's good.
but they aren't there yet for a large portion of the film.
Most
like
of the
the
time of
majority.
the movie, I would have to say, right?
Yeah, they don't get there until the end.
That'd be an
None of
interesting
that.
road trip movie if they just like finished the road trip like the
getting
first
there?
third of the movie. Yeah.
I mean, that's
They just
kind
get
of
there and then they're
National
like-
Lampoon's Vacation. They do get there, but it's closed after everything.
That's true. And then they
It's a
have
good
to.
movie.
I forget what. it is a good movie. It's been a while since I've seen the actual road trip. I've watched the Christmas Vacation one more.
Yeah.
I forget. Do they like what? It's then like it's a trip back home from like the road trip, and then like things go even worse somehow. I forget how that
No,
movie
that's
plays out.
pretty much near the end. The road trip back doesn't play much into the film,
Okay.
but yeah, they get there and it's closed, and so he basically has a mental break, and he breaks in with a BB gun and forces John Candy who's like the security guard to like take them around the park till the cops show
Which
up.
is just he's definitely the bad guy in that movie. Not John Candy, but Chevy Chase.
Yeah, he goes crazy in all the movies.
He does. He always loses it at some point.
Granted, anybody would lose it with all the stuff that they always dish out to him.
Oh my God, there's so much that goes on in those movies.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Good films, all 12 of them. No.
All 12, that's right.
No, there's like
Did you know
two or three
Sorry,
worth watching.
there are two? Yeah, there's a couple worth watching. Not the one where they go to Vegas though, right? I forget. That's not like.
I don't remember if it was good or not. I don't. That maybe that says something. Christmas is good. The original's good. The others are who knows. One sec.
Right.
Leviathan Den says, "Hey BM chaps, do you have a link to your artwork for purchase? I remember you mentioning it the other week on an episode of DrawBomb, and I wanted to check it out, but things got in the way, and I forgot where you had said to look." Okay, yeah, I do. I'll post a link in the chat just to make it easy on everybody. We have an Etsy shop.
Links in the chat.
Links in the chat. I have an Etsy shop that has most of the stuff, and yeah, let me bring that up real quick. If you don't
I
mind
still
me
need to get
taking a
that
break.
Father's Day card from you.
Yeah, they're up now. We put them up yesterday.
That's
So
for
get
you
'em while
folks
they're
if you want to order.
Hot.
Get them while they're hot.
Because you only got we kind of should have had them in the store sooner. We only got 2 weeks, and that doesn't count the 3 or 4 days it takes me to send them to you. So
Right.
buy them now.
Buy 'em.
Buy
Dumb
2.
shit.
Give 2 to your dad. He won't remember, and you can give him the same one next year.
Yeah, give one to your dad, and then have one for your dad to give to his dad if you have your grandfather around still.
Here's the shop. I do it with. I make all this stuff with my fiance. Then I'm going to get some of my own prints in there soon and stuff too. But right now it's just like some fun stuff that we've been making. So check it out. Yeah, some goodies for
Yeah,
sure.
folks. I highly recommend. There's a lot of really fun stuff in there. Question, of all the Father's Day cards, which one do you think is the most likely to make your father cry?
We only made one Father's Day card this year, we made 3 when we did Mother's Day. We did 3 cards. Four for Father's Day. We only did 1, so that one obviously is the best one. No, Mom got more cards. Dad only got 1. We were on
a scale of 1 to
vacation.
10. You were on vacation. That is true.
And so,
On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is a father to cry
when they see
on
this
reading?
card,
Yeah.
you know, it really depends on that dad. Depends what, you know. We talking about a sad dad? We talking about some dads are more the quiet type. They don't really wear the emotions on their sleeve. But it's a pretty wholesome card. If you got a sappy paw and you write something nice in there, you might squeeze out a tear or two.
Say like this is a real, like this is a dad who is emotionally distant. You know, he comes home and he just like sits in front of the TV on the recliner, drinking a beer in the armchair, wearing like an undershirt.
So specific.
You know, his
this
emotionally
example that this metaphor here, or this
hypothetical, I think is what you're going for.
hypothetical that you're coming up with. It's very specific.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the sort of the stereotype of like a certain type of father of like a certain generation that you always see on like TV. Like how many TV shows had like that sort of father in it? It was like the dad who sits on the recliner and just like drinks beers all the time. Usually that's like the shitty dad too, who's like abusive of everybody, and he's just
they
like
make
he
a
looks
joke
like
out
shit
of it.
all the time. Yeah, they make a joke out of it. Sometimes they make a joke out of it. Sometimes they just make him like a real horrible human being, and they're just like, yeah, that's this person's dad. But also,
Right.
it's like I have to assume, like since that trope appears so often, I'm assuming. I mean, I assume there's people who are like that. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just glad that I have a good dad. You got a nice dad over there, don't you?
a good dad. Yeah,
Good. We got good dads. We're lucky ones.
we
Not
are.
that a lot of dads are bad, but
No, but some, you know.
this is the conversation
So-
for before Father's Day. Man, a lot of dads
Real
suck,
watery.
right, guys?
Man, don't you just hate it when your dad hits you in the face?
Oh boy.
No, but-
but
We're opening up a can of worms here.
are you asking if it will melt the icy core of a bad dad? Yes. The answer is yes. So buy this card and it will
Okay.
fix your relationship with your dad. 100%.
That's
the guarantee. If it doesn't,
that-
you can we'll just contact us and we'll work on getting your money back to you. It's a long process.
Yeah, and we'll
but
also
it
come
will-
and beat up your dad.
Well, yeah, definitely.
I say we, but it's your store. I mean, I don't get anything.
I hired you as muscle.
That's right. I'm the goon
Hey, I
Not
hear
to
you
be
a bad
confused.
dad.
with the comic book series, The Goon.
Have you ever read that comic?
I haven't actually. I think I read an issue. I think like I had like a friend who had a copy of that and Bone around the same time, and I like read a little bit of both.
I've wanted to read it. I like the artist. I follow some of his work. And
They were working on that 3D movie like a long time ago, but that nothing ever came of that, which is a bummer because it looked cool. That's all I have to say, but I don't know anything else about it. The artist is cool though. I've seen the art.
so yeah, maybe I'll check that out sometime.
I feel like I've been wasting the last 20 minutes trying to draw this freaking.
I was gonna say we're gonna try to get this done quicker than usual. So maybe we need to put a timer in the corner. Maybe that will get you. Because I've seen you do some crazy stuff when there's pressure on the line.
I know. I was like fucking hammering them out over the stream the other night. Not our stream, but somebody else's stream.
We've been watching some streams where you draw along, which we're gonna try to incorporate more of that kind of stuff.
We're jacking it. Wait, that sounds bad. We're jacking that swag. We're jacking their swag
all night long on Monday nights.
We're jacking it. Just jacking it. So, yeah, we're gonna start trying to include some audience participation. I feel like that's, you know, you don't have to feel obligated to participate.
Yeah, no one has to, but we have a lot of artistic friends who watch the show, and also we want to make new artistic friends.
That's right. We want folks who do the arts to feel encouraged to hang out and be a part of the experience. So right now, if you are an art and you do the art and you want to do something along with us, draw your zombie apocalypse scenario now. And then post it in the DrawBomb Discord, which has a new section in it for people to do that shit. And if anyone posts anything, we'll look at it on the show.
We'll show it all off on the stream, and we can all talk about how talented you are. Say some nice stuff.
Yeah, we'll be like, oh, look at you. Look at that thing you did. Look at your draw.
And then I'll hang it on my fridge. Guarantee.
Can't wait. Hold on. We're gonna go that far as to hang it on our fridges? I don't know, man.
It's going right up on the fridge.
Okay. You know what? I like to be supportive of our children.
Yes.
And
you know,
if we're gonna start a cult, we gotta start calling these folks children.
That's a nice drawing of a dog, and I'm like, no, it's an elephant. You've insulted my children. Get the hell out of here.
You freaking dingus! How dare you? So, should we talk about why we're drawing?
I was just about to prompt that, and then you beat me to it by mere moments.
It's because we're on the same wavelength, you know what I mean, man?
Yeah, I know what you mean, because we're on the same wavelength.
Whoa.
Yep. Full circle.
Whoa, bro. The full circle. Full circles are hard to draw online, on digital.
Yeah, they have corners when you listen to iTunes.
I know, the Ohio players are really fucking up my circles right now, man.
So why are we drawing this stuff?
We've been playing a little bit of 7 Days to Die, which has been a blast, if I do say so myself.
It has.
I've played a fair bit of 7 Days myself, but you're a newbie. I mean, you bought the game, I think, for us to play this server, didn't you? Was that a thing?
I've had it for a long time. I just never really played it. It was one of those mini Steam games I own that didn't get a lot of play. I'm like, this looks great, and then that's the end of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have so many of those I need to get through. I like someday I'm just gonna stream myself doing a bunch of those and like just like power, because I did that actually with a bunch of the free ones. And one day I streamed myself just like, I found these free games on Steam, we're gonna play them, and then I beat like 2 of them in an hour.
That's a good way to do it,
because it turns out they're free for a reason.
There's some good free games.
Yeah, free games are fun. I mean, I did not enjoy my 30 minutes each per thing.
But they were short.
Actually, the spread was more 45 one, 15 the other, but still.
Was Jesus's Adventure one of the free games?
No, I never actually beat that one, but I intend to at some point. Although I'm not sure if it's possible because I stopped playing because the one mission seemed glitched.
Well, you know, the final mission hasn't happened yet, where Jesus will return.
That's true. That's a good one. I did play a decent amount of Jesus RPG Adventure, though. That went swimmingly.
I think that was the one I was talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah. the Jesus RPG. I do want to play Barkley Quest sometime.
How do you rate the RPG elements in Jesus RPG Quest?
Let's say it's a rating system of 1 out of 2, I'd say. Because they are there somewhat, but I don't know if they're fun. Because there's so little that happens in that game. And also, it felt like the RPG elements were mostly there in case you accidentally walked, like, out in the grass too far. It's kind of like in Pokemon, like, you gotta step in the tall grass. In Jesus RPG, you just gotta step in the tall grass, and then, like, you start getting attacked by demons. And it's kind of like, okay, well, like, oh, I just not go in the fucking tall grass.
Why are demons restrained to the tall grass?
I don't know, man. There's probably something in the Bible about that.
God banished them. God makes the rules, but he doesn't make it easy.
He does not.
Life is like Battletoads.
Just constant suffering and pain?
I'm told that you can win, but I'm not convinced that it's actually true.
No, I don't think so. Although, you know who's probably winning?
Jeff Bezos?
Is Jeff Bezos, but he's going to space, so he might blow up.
So well, maybe he's going because he wants to be the richest man in space, too.
Yeah, of course.
Well, good. I hope he stays there.
Yeah, me too. He's going so he can look at the big blue marble that is Earth and be like, which should I buy next?
He wants to see the whole, what he owns. He wants to see all of it. Leviathan Den says, I mostly do photography. As soon as this giant OLED TV I bought is paid off on my Best Buy card, I'm upgrading my camera. That's cool. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
It's nice if you have a nice camera, you can do some. I mean, it takes skill mostly, but if you have a nice camera, it's pretty cool. Some of the stuff you can do.
Taking photos is one of those things where you really got to know what you're doing, or else you're just gonna really take a whole. Like, if you're doing digital art, you can like fix it up eventually, and like I guess you can sort of do that with photos too. When it comes to like photos, if you fuck up like the white balance of a photo, like that's it. That data is gone. Like you can't like retroactively like find that like stuff that's zebra striped out of the photo. You know, you gotta kind of just work with what you got. Then
yeah, that's true.
Photoshop. Then it's a debate about the integrity of the photography and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I don't know, Ian. I think all the people on our channel. After watching that Photoshop commercial that they were forced to watch before our stream, I think they would argue that you can do a lot of things.
Your butts? It always sounds like they're saying your butts in that fucking commercial. I don't know what the fuck they're actually saying, but it's just like it sounds like a person just going into a microphone going la 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 la. Also, like, who's Photoshop trying to like advertise to? People who don't know about like Adobe products? Like, you're Adobe, you don't need to advertise. Everyone, you're a verb now. Photoshop is a verb. Like, you've done it. You're good.
Yeah, it's true. Anyone who uses anyone who's going to use Photoshop already knows about it.
Yeah. It's like the only reason, like, they don't advertise regular tissues anymore. I'm not sure if they ever did, but they definitely don't now. Now they advertise like tissues if they're just like, hey, we like put fucking honey and like lotion in these tissues so that your nose hurts less when you're blowing every 5 seconds because of allergies. But like otherwise, they don't advertise regular tissues because first of all, everyone calls tissues Kleenex for the most part. It's like one of those other things.
That's when you know you've done it. When you're like Kleenex or Band-Aid or one of these companies where you've taken over the product that you make. Your name is more well known than the actual name of the product.
Yeah.
Bandages or Band-Aids, even if you buy different brands.
Yeah.
Kleenex are, their tissues are Kleenex, even if you buy different brands. Like when people are.
By the way, this episode of DrawBomb is not sponsored by Band-Aids, Kleenex, Photoshop, Google, or
But if they want to sponsor us, we'll happily sell out.
I can.
Give it a second.
Hey Adobe, you want to hire us? Like, we will stop shitting on your commercial right now, but until then, fuck you!
Yeah, if you hire us, I think I might change my mind that it's a great commercial now.
That's such a good commercial. That's what we would say if you sponsored us, but until then, fuck you and your commercial.
I like some of the animation in the commercial.
Oh yeah, like, don't get me wrong, like, the fact that, like, there's all that shit going on is pretty cool. But it's like a long commercial. I mean, it's probably only 30 seconds. It just feels like it takes forever.
I've had to watch it so many times.
I've had to watch it so many times.
Leviathan Den says, it would be a real shame if there was a pinhole in Bezos' cockpit and his head expands from the immense pressure in the stratosphere and his head pops like a confetti-filled piñata, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah.
Look.
His bald head would... Yeah, that would be a shame. Yes. As people on Twitch, we would both... I think we'd be invited to the funeral and we'd be sad.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a shame if that man who got was already rich and then started a company and then became unfathomably rich
I mean,
suffered?
If his head explodes in space, I mean, obviously he's just gonna have his consciousness transferred into another body that he has floating in a tank in the bottom of his lab, in the bottom of his mansion. Sure.
All the Alexas will just start like talking in his voice.
He'll start a doomsday like thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just becomes Alexa.
Yeah. I have prepared for this moment.
And obviously, if that isn't the case, that dude's gonna like bury himself inside like a pyramid or something, right? Like a new one.
Oh yeah, 100%. That dude's gonna like bulldoze an entire like orphanage to build like a graveyard for himself only. That's how it's gonna work. All right, I'm just gonna say it's 8:30. We should probably you're coloring already.
Yeah, I'm getting it done. I'm going.
Right, I have been dilly-dallying, shilly-shallying this whole time. I'm just gonna real quick. I'm gonna do a background, but I'm gonna make it super quick. But I'll add it in after we do that right now. Yeah, no, that dude's definitely got like a pyramid that he's gonna put his body in. He's gonna like demolish an orphanage to make way for his statue that is like 30 feet tall. I can see it already in my mind.
He'll have a full head of hair.
That's right.
No, I don't think he's insecure about that, because that dude could totally buy hair if he wanted it.
Oh yeah, 100%. He could wear a mop if he wanted to.
He could get real hair. When you have billions of dollars, I think you can do anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
like
sure.
Peter Thiel pays to like have young people blood injected into his bloodstream. I'm sure Jeff Bezos would have no problem fucking like buying like a homeless guy's hair and then like using that.
He'd just probably have one of his Amazon trucks like pick some people up and they would
Yeah.
never be heard from again. But he'd have a great new head of hair.
It's always funny when people are just like, he started that company alone in his garage. When it, like half the time when people like come up with that myth where it's like this person started their company in their garage, if you like look into it, they're just like with a healthy donation of $100,000 from their parents. There's always like that little caveat there where it's just like, oh no, they started with like a fuck ton of money already. They didn't start in their garage.
People want to believe that it's possible because they think they might be able to become a trillionaire too.
They want to be next in line.
But it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Sorry, folks.
Unless you're
Capitalism
already
says no.
filthy rich, you're not gonna get that filthy rich.
No. But let's
move on from that.
Let's stop being so depressing.
Why don't people watch our show?
What the heck?
Yeah, we
Who's
need to work on our
what?
positivity aspect, I think.
That's
A lot of people are drawn to that and repelled by the opposite.
Yeah, it's you know, what we got going on in this show is definitely a rollicking good time.
I think so. But other people
I
have,
liked it.
you know, everyone has different opinions of what's fun.
That's true. And you know,
Exactly. You said it best right there, my friend. Leviathan Den says Jeff really underpays his employees by a huge margin. Sad. Yeah, I 100% agree, and that's mainly why we dislike this gentleman. But we're gonna try to move away from that now, just because we're trying not to be big bummers.
We usually get like at least an hour into the show before we start the shitting on Jeff Bezos.
You wait, just wait till next Monday, and we'll have more to say about Jeff Bezos, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So
it'll be the same stuff, but we'll just say it again in a different way.
Yeah, because that's how we fight back.
Yeah.
We're really hurting him, cutting deep.
He's
watching
wiping
our
up his
stream right now.
tears
He's one
with
of the 3
$100
viewers.
bills. That's right.
He's like, oh man, I'm a good guy, I promise.
I promised that when I made them pee in bottles instead of going to the bathroom. Nah, fuck it, I just wanted money, I don't care.
He's like, oh man, and then he's like, hey, and he starts yelling at his footrest, which is just a person in an Amazon uniform.
I told you you could cry. I would have ordered a footrest that can cry, and trust me, I can order anything.
I would have had one built.
On Amazon.
Anyways.
So yeah, we've been playing 7 Days to Die.
Yeah. Which has been it's been good. It's an older game. Still in alpha or beta or something.
It's one of those contradictory games where it's old but it's still new because it's not finished.
Yeah, we keep adding
like a
stuff.
Star Citizen.
It's pretty fun. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. Not Star Citizen.
I think it's been in development for less time than Star Citizen, but it's also a much more playable game than Star Citizen.
Oh, I thought it was older than Star Citizen.
Let's Google it.
How about you, chat? Anybody been playing anything fun?
Yeah, you guys been playing some shit?
Or watch anything good lately?
Production started in 2010 on Star Citizen. 7 Days to Die. Kickstarter. 2013. So 7 Days to Die started development 3 years after Star Citizen.
Well, fine then. Get your I told you so's out of the way.
Star Citizen fucking sucks. Anyways. That's my I told you so. But yeah, way more playable, 7 Days to Die. Much more finished, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why I'm so mad at Star Citizen. I think just because it's so unplayable.
Yeah, it's offensive, like how broken it is. At least when we tried it.
I mean, it was
We might have
definitely
gone
not
through periods of being more or less playable as they update things. I don't know. I won't be playing more of it, but unless it dramatically changes. But
I think I needed a better computer, one that can run DrawPile and iTunes at the same time.
yeah, have you had issues with that in the past, or is that a newer update?
You know, I don't know if I've actually had iTunes going during the past couple of DrawBombs because I feel like when I realized like, oh, I'm not listening to music right now, I just like, it was like, oh, I could be listening to music right now, and I wasn't.
Well, that was a mistake that
I feel like
fixing.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my computer's been acting really weird the last couple of weeks.
It's been giving me a little bit of trouble.
So I need to.
Well, tell it to knock
I'm
it off.
Googling-
You tried that.
I begged and I pleaded and I said, please, baby, please, baby, 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 please, and it just fucking just keeps on being a hassle.
That's weird.
So I don't know. I gotta figure out. I gotta do some googling of these blue screens that I'm getting, and figure out what's
blue
going
screens
on.
are never something you want. I haven't had one in a minute, I feel like.
I started having them pretty much immediately when I got this computer.
Yeah.
Like I got this computer in October. I got my first blue screen in October, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No bueno.
But it's definitely been much more common the last couple weeks, and I don't know what's changed. But I have a hard drive. I'm gonna update my BIOS tonight. We'll see what happens. BIOS. You been watching anything?
Not really. I'm trying to think if there is anything. I don't think I have. I haven't really been watching anything. I've been watching It's Always Sunny still. I mentioned that last week, but there's a lot of episodes, so I'll probably be doing that for a little while. How about you?
I've been watching Modern Family a lot, and I've been watching something else. I forget off the top of my head. Mostly I finished King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Which that's a treat for everybody, so I'll stop spending like a whole episode talking about it.
It's a shame, really.
Yeah, but Bobby. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Modern Family, which I've been really enjoying, and I've also just been listening to podcasts more lately. Usually, my time that I would spend watching TV shows has been more focused on doing the dangle art in the mornings that I've been streaming.
Yeah.
So that's sort of been taking precedence.
Nice. Yeah, well, I like that you've been streaming, and we've talked about it a little bit on here, but that's cool. I kind of want to do it some too, although I don't want to step on your toes with any of that.
Oh, go right ahead. Step all over my toes. It's fine. I mean, I know a lot of people who, like, a lot of the folks who I've been watching streaming and whose, like, communities I've sort of been engaging with, a lot of them just, like, stream at the same time because of, like, that's when they're free.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, you know.
That's true. I suppose that's true.
If anything, there's nothing wrong with the reason I've been doing the streaming is because I get to have an opportunity to like really embarrass myself if I like don't get art done. Like when I sit down and do the stream, I'm just like, okay, well I want to do this for at least 4 hours, and during that 4 hours I'll be live, so I'll know like, okay, well,
being held accountable.
What was that?
You're being held accountable.
Exactly. I'm being held accountable. So that's been, I think, the top motivator for keeping the stream going is the accountability that it adds to my process.
That's cool.
Not good. That yeah, isn't it? And it's nice because I don't need the stream to keep myself like working on art, but it definitely helps because like some days before I was streaming, I'd wake up and I'd be like, God, I'm tired today. I'm just gonna fucking chill. But
yeah.
You know, if I have like unless something comes up like the family wants me to do chores or something like that, which is why I didn't stream today. But you know, if I do the work, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It basically having the schedule makes it so like I'm more consistent.
And you seem to have quite a few people tuning in, so that's cool.
I do. It's been kind of weird. I'm not used to it. I'm used to like making my shit and sending it off into the void.
Yeah. We're used to doing this show.
Yeah, we're doing exactly. That's what this is. We're doing it. It's this show is kind of like mining cryptocurrency, but with none of the actual money that you get from mining cryptocurrency.
We're just getting drawings that we can then try to sell as NFTs.
That's right. You know what? I'm so glad I haven't heard anyone say the word NFT. I mean, I've heard people say NFT.
I've heard it pretty much crashed. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that, but I didn't even read the article. I passed a headline that said that the whole market was crashing, which felt like it was bound to happen, but I can't. Who can say for sure what would happen with that kind of stuff? Everything's so weird.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I'd ever know for sure, like what the future holds for like a particular market. Like I thought for sure that cryptocurrency was gonna, crash and burn within like months of it being a thing. So it's just like it's money that you can't trace, and like you could get scammed like crazy easily.
Yeah.
I don't really see the benefit, but people were still talking about Ethereum and et cetera, so something's there, I guess. I don't know. I still have no desire to get involved in cryptocurrency.
Right. The money of the future.
Whoa. So yeah, I don't know.
I once, a wise man, I think it was Jesus, once said, "Mo money, mo problems." So
That's right.
I stay away from that.
Jesus did say that it's easier for my Buick pass through the eye of a needle, and
Yeah,
for me to stop flaunting these dollar bills, y'all.
What verse was that?
That was Gucci Mane 16:12. I don't know. I'm just
One of my favorite
saying
books
shit, man.
of the Bible.
Yeah, the Gucci Mane book.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as Gucci Mane said to the Corinthians, I was gonna tie it into Spring Breakers, the movie Spring Breakers, because Gucci Mane's in that movie.
Oh, no, I actually haven't seen that. Weird James.
I watched it. Yeah, James Franco playing Riff Raff, but not Riff Raff, but he's essentially being Riff Raff.
Got it.
But I watched it with my roommate, who was a big fan of that movie and really anything that Harmony Korine does. And he was like, "This movie's crazy," and I watched it, and let me tell you, that movie is strange, because it's kind of like watching a big music video, but also like having a fucking like fever dream. Very strange.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you recommend it?
No. Like I don't know. It might be your. It's definitely up some people's alleys. I don't know. Maybe I was not in the mindset to enjoy it for what it was, but it's like, if I could describe what it's like, there's a plot there, but it's very loosely. It feels like it really does. It feels like you're watching a movie drunk, but you're sober, and the movie itself is drunk, because like scenes will happen. And like a lot of times it's like there's no sound and it's just like music or like ambience, and like what ends up happening is like so confusing, and I don't totally understand what it was trying to say.
Right.
It's a weird fucking movie. Yeah, I legitimately don't know, because yeah, it's a weird movie. It feels like I felt like I was drunk watching it, but I was at the time completely sober, and I wanted to get drunk because I was like.
Seems like a bad way to watch that movie. Sober.
Drunk? Oh
No.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's strange, and I mean the best part of the movie is probably. The best part of the movie is like I don't know if I liked any of it. It's weird. Like, so you want me to just like give you the plot real quick of what the fuck happens?
Yeah. Spoilers to anybody watching the show who's watching Spring Breakers later tonight or tomorrow or something. You don't want to know what happens. We're gonna go into spoiler territory on the 6-year-old movie Spring Breakers.
Is it only 6 years old?
I have no idea how old it is. So it's just a guess.
Feels like so long ago. But yeah, it's a hell of a movie. So like basically, this girl wants to go to spring break and like she basically has a thrill for danger, so she decides she really likes robbing stores. So she like lassos her one friend and like their other friend from college into robbing stores with them. and then they meet up with James Franco, who is playing Riff Raff. And then James Franco is really into the fact that one, that they rob stores, and two, that they all have sex with him like at the same time. Of course.
Oh, he's a fan of that?
Yeah, he's a big fan of the four ways. Who knew?
I might move the title up top since there's empty space up there, and we're gonna move on after.
Oh yeah, go for it.
You're cool with that?
No, okay. So yeah, so then they do that. They rob a shit ton of stores, and then you know, they meet. Oh shit! I did it again. They meet up with James Franco. And they like do all that stuff with him, and then he like parties with them, and then like kind of like helps them streamline their robbing places thing. And then Gucci Mane comes in, and Gucci Mane's like a rival rapper slash gangster or something, who like James Franco used to roll with or something. I don't remember exactly what their connection was, but Gucci Mane essentially starts threatening them, and eventually, I'm pretty like the one girl who was in college, she eventually freaks out and goes home because she doesn't want to be there anymore. And then James Franco and I think the other girl's friend either die or they get injured. I don't totally remember. But then the last girl, who was like the main character from the beginning, who was the one who enjoyed, you know, being dangerous and stuff, then she just rolls up at Gucci Mane's compound and then just like kills everybody inside. And then that's the end of the movie. Yeah. And yeah, it's yeah. And it's really weird that she manages to. Yeah, it's really weird that she manages to kill everyone inside like the mansion too, because it's like these dudes who are like giant dudes with like at Mac 10s and stuff, and then she's like running up with these two guns in a bikini and like a balaclava, and then she's just like pew, 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 and like dudes are just like put.
They probably just did that because that sounds like a really fun sequence.
Oh, 100%. That's the entire movie is like shit that was done because it was a fun sequence. It was basically like all there's like the fact that I described the plot is like laughable because there really is very little plot. It's all sequences that are meant to be visually interesting and
Gotcha.
kind of like, it's like watching a shit ton of music videos strung together is essentially what the movie is like. Captain Sheepy says, "Draw Rising." You got that right. Alternate title: 7 Days to Draw. What are some? Draw of the Dead.
Yeah.
Or Drawn of the Dead. There we go.
Better.
You got any?
Let me think of some. I'm trying to think of zombie movies that you didn't already cover.
I mean, there's a lot of them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What was that one, Fido, which is like where they raise the zombies as pets? It has Trinity from The Matrix in it.
Just yeah, what was the one that just came out on Netflix?
The one just coming out? Oh, isn't that like
It's got Batista in it, and everyone says it's terrible.
Snyder?
Yeah.
Is it terrible?
I don't know. That's kind of what I've heard, but
not surprised. I mean, I feel like Netflix pays for like a lot of their movies to be bad and like schlocky, just because they're just like, fuck it. We have Batista in a Zack Snyder movie. It's name credit.
Why not? People are watching it. That's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically they just need to like pack their service with content so people have a reason to stay subscribed.
Yeah. Correct. All right. Welcome to the chat, Captain Sheepy, by the way. Thanks for tuning in.
Last DrawBomb to Busan. Yeah, welcome, Captain Sheepy. Long time no see. Glad to have you here.
The thing that kind of stumped me trying to come up with those names is that most of the words I would change is like dead, and like that's usually the through line in every single one.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil is not bad.
It's pretty bad. That was nice of you to suggest otherwise.
But you did what you had with what you had to work with.
If it were a game, they would somehow fit the word draw into the middle of the word. Another
like
word.
I'd spell out Roman numerals.
Yeah.
That's a new thing. They do that only with the first person ones, I've noticed, which is a weird.
It wasn't too intrusive in those two. I thought that was a good way to do it.
I'm not complaining. I think it's really clever, honestly.
Replace a letter with like just straight up number. That's always dumb. It's like if you read it like phonetically, it's nonsense.
Like screeform.
Like if you were like Resident Evil.
I know.
It doesn't make any sense. But if they just casually like fit the Roman numerals inside the actual letters, it seems a little more clever. There's a little bit more skilled design going into that than.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I love what they're doing with that. I think that's really clever. I think it's interesting that they save that specifically for the first-person Resident Evils. I'm not sure if that's just because the only Resident Evils that have been continuing upward in numbers have been the first-person ones right now, and the other ones have been like remakes. But they started doing that with the first-person Resident Evils, and I'm not sure if they go back to a third-person Resident Evil that's also a higher number than like 8, if they keep that up.
Right.
I think it's clever though. I like it.
DrawBomb.
DrawBomb.
Alright. Moving on. Moving right along.
Got that one saved. Alright, so we're trying to include audience participation in this shit now.
Yeah.
So
I know it might not get any bites the first few attempts, but we'll keep at it.
Yeah, so how do we do this?
That's a great question. I mean, if we had more viewers, we could ask for suggestions or prompts.
People are in the chat.
But until we get that going, maybe we'll have to kind of create the prompts ourselves. We could either use, there's like prompts websites that will create one for you, like a type of character, or we could, I mean, maybe that's what we should do for this episode since we don't have stuff prepared, but we could prepare stuff in the future.
Yeah, I found this one website. It's supposed to be like a Tumblr theme, like sort of generator, but it generally just combines 2 words, and I get a lot of repeat words, but it has made some fun word combinations. There's also that one Draw Prompts website that hasn't worked for like 3 years.
That's what I was gonna take a peek at least some version of that.
I'm sure it's still broken. Oh no, Art Prompts actually is working now, it looks like. A lot more ads up on it, like the ads are much more intrusive than they used to be, but fucking it works. And then the top art post is, I totally broke this site last night and I'm getting it fixed now, sorry. It's like, dude, this site was broken for 2 years, last night.
Alright, so I say we, let's roll the dice and see what you get, and then we'll pick.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Wow. Is that you doing that time?
Leviathan done was the first one, then I just got excited.
Yeah. Well, I love a good wow. So, what website you're using? The Art Prompts website right now?
What'd you get?
All right. Well,
I went under character prompts, unless you want to do something. I think characters would be fun.
Well, I have a static generator open up. I'll let you do art prompts, and you can do whatever you want there. I have art prompts open too, in case a static generator is getting me goose eggs. But for the second click on the first click was Halloween Spirit, which is fine, but I feel like it's not the time for that yet.
Get
we
3
just did
clicks and tell me your favorite one.
Well, I got Beach Wave for the second click, which I feel like Beach Wave is a type of music genre I would listen to. But want me to click one more time and see what I get?
More time.
Lizard Mom.
I like Lizard Mom.
Hey, do you want to do? What's your art prompt?
I had a cop with a big black mustache.
Okay.
I like Lizard Mom.
I like Lizard Mom. Let's do.
Leviathan Den says, Ian, do you have an Etsy or store of some sort?
I do not. I have not capitalized on my art in any way, shape, or form. I eventually I've been told that like those patterns I've been doing every once in a while are good for like phone cases and things like that, and that'd be cool. But otherwise, no, I haven't taken that step yet.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I think you'll get around to that at some point, and then I will buy all your stuff.
Thank
The
you.
prompt.
I think anyone who prompt is Lizard Mom. I think anyone who goes looking for my Etsy is gonna like search my name, and then when they get nothing, they're just gonna go.
Oh, come on!
Are they driving a truck while searching?
Yeah, they're driving and texting at the same time.
No, they shouldn't be doing
and
that.
then they'll say.
Oh, that's a shame.
So, we're gonna
Lizard
do
Mom.
Lizard Mom.
If anybody watching wants to draw along, it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't feel pressured, but if you want to, definitely do it. We'll post on the show, or if you don't want us to post it, we won't. But regardless, don't worry about like if you're self-conscious about anything. You don't have to be. It's all fun
We
here.
put a timer on this.
Oh yeah, maybe we should. How long should we give ourselves? You think
15 minutes.
15 minutes?
10 minutes?
Okay.
Let's do 15.
Let's give ourselves 15 for the first one. Do you have a way that you can set a timer, or should I? It would
There's
be
a
nice if I could
timer
pull it
app.
on screen.
There's a timer app that's built into Microsoft, so if anything, you could pull that up, and then you
Let's
could
do it.
use
Let's
window
do it.
capture in OBS to do that.
Okay.
I know the one like for Lord Spew streams, he has the one guy actually build apps for him for his
That's cool.
stream to use, but we're not able to code, or we don't have someone we can pay to do that stuff.
It's all right.
Although I
yeah.
have talked to the fellow who does code that stuff. He's very nice. He's a nice fellow.
Adding it right now. It'll only take me 1 second. Thanks for standing by as we're figuring this out real quick.
Yeah, this is a new thing we're doing.
Yeah.
In the meantime, what did the one zombie say to the other zombie?
Oh, come on! Brah, brah. Is that not it?
It's not. I'm actually trying to think of the punchline right now.
What did one zombie say to the other zombie?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, "Hey, dude."
Great.
said,
That's
"Hey,
great.
dude."
I love it.
Yeah. Let's say that like it's a real joke real quick, okay? While you get this all set up, I'm gonna say it again, okay? What did the one zombie say to the other zombie?
Gosh, I don't know, but I'm sure it's really funny. What did he say?
He said, "Hey, dude." Okay. So, yeah.
I have a timer in the corner, and I can start that whenever you're ready to start drawing Lizard Mom.
Let's get it going.
All right. At the sound of the fart, we are beginning. Feel free to join in. It'll be a swell time.
Whoop. Just to let you know, Cartoon Mom is your timer right now.
Oh, whoops. Now you see a peek behind the curtain of how I know. I'm like, what's a mom? I never had one. That's not true.
I don't know what a mom is. Alright,
Good catch there.
no problem. I was gonna use the screen as the timer, but I decided.
Well, I'll give you
But there is-
updates. We're at
Sure.
14 minutes and 15 seconds.
There is also, I mean, there is a timer app that is built into Windows that you could just. We can do this later.
This is a Windows app.
Is it? A
What?
fancy one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I just assumed it was an internet app because.
No, it's Windows.
Oh, interesting. Yours looks cooler than mine. Mine looks lame in comparison.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, we'll get a smoother operation setup for next show or soon. But But this is what we have for now. So while we're drawing lizard moms, if your mom was an animal, what animal would she be?
Oh, she'd be a lizard. She's real cold-blooded.
I should always know that when I ask these questions, I have to then answer them when you're done.
I'll come up with a better answer. Actually, I won't. Fuck. What would my mom be if she was an animal? She would be a junkyard dog. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd probably just gonna do a joke answer too. Yeah, who knows? How do you answer that question? Set you up for failure.
I feel like no matter what, if our moms were to hear this, they'd be like, "What the fuck?"
If my mom were an animal, she'd be in a highly evolved primate species, and she is.
Yeah. Well, look at that. When I eat dinner with the family, excuse me, we usually have like some TV show that we have on that we watch as the family while we eat, because having conversation with each other is too painful.
Right.
No, it's fine. We have conversation all the time. It's just sometimes you just want to eat food and watch a show. So before it was Bob's Burgers, but like I'd watched Bob's Burgers already, and then I was okay with watching it again as a family because I like Bob's Burgers, and then we just recently finished watching all of the Bob's Burgers as a family, which I thought was never going to happen, but here we are. So as like a sort of the next show to watch, we started watching Grace and Frankie again, because we've all seen it before, but I think...
Do you like that show?
Yeah, I like that show.
Yes. I haven't watched any of that.
And it's funny. What was that?
I haven't watched any of it myself.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's definitely a show for older people. It's definitely skews for an older audience because it's about people who are sort of at that stage in their life, and them trying to find romance. And like they have younger characters, but they're definitely the ancillary characters, and the focus is not on them, although episodes do have storylines that revolve around them and like their antics and etc., etc. But you more get a peek into their life because of how their lives affect Grace and Frankie mostly.
Got it.
Which is fine. I don't care if like young people are the focus of the show. I mean, at this point, I'm starting to like age out of the demographic that like a lot of shows try and cater towards.
Yeah.
Like I watched this one British drama called Crashing, which is only 6 episodes long because British shows only ever do like 6 episodes anyways. But it's like about like a bunch of like 25-year-olds who like they get paid to basically live in an abandoned hospital until it gets like leased out for whatever, like as a luxury condo or whatever, and then like them trying to like fuck and things like that. And I was watching this show and I was just like, oh my god, I'm actually like, these people are all supposed to be like 23 to 25. I am too old for the target audience for this show. That's so weird.
Yeah.
And it felt weird to be like older than like the intended age group.
Yeah, it's
but it was
strange
fine.
that
It was
people don't want to sell me anything anymore.
Nah,
You're not worth any money to me.
It's probably because I'm just too jaded to like have advertising work on me anymore. I feel like when you're younger, you like see a toy ad where like this kid like gets like a toy helicopter and then he like literally blasts off into space or whatever, and it's just like, oh my god.
You're like, fuck yeah, I need that in my life.
A blast off into space. And it's not like now that I'm older and wiser, I'm just like, no, that's just a dramatization of what it feels like to be playing with their helicopter, supposedly.
10-minute warning. It's actually 9-minute warning.
Oh Jesus. My mom is gonna be very stereotypical, by the way, and I'm sorry to all the moms out there. This is like a Looney Tunes mom at this point, or like
yeah,
a
that's
fucking
kind of the way
Ghost.
I was going too, but maybe I'll.
Because otherwise you just draw like a female, like a lizard with like feminine features, I guess, and then that's supposed to sell. Lizard Mom. I mean, if we had people participating in the chat, or if we do have people participating in the chat, we'd love to see how you guys tackle this subject.
I have an idea. I have an idea how I can do this without just making her like a getting dinner, like stay-at-home lizard mom.
She's a business mom?
She might be. That's, you know, that remains to be seen. All I have down is the fact that she's a lizard. I'm working on the rest.
Gotcha. What was I was talking about? Grace and Frankie, I guess? I don't know.
You were talking about how
yeah.
demographics and how you're not really the one that they're trying to sell the young people stuff to anymore.
That was really more of a tangent. What I was really trying to say, though, because it was kind of going back to comparing our moms to animals, but we've been watching Grace and Frankie, and like we started having this conversation where our mom started saying like, you know, my friends say I'm just like the one character on this show. I'm such a free spirit, and we're like, what? Are your friends telling you you're Frankie and Grace and Frankie? Because you're not. You're, if anyone, you're Grace. And she's like, what? No. And I'm just like, yes. And like, pretty much everyone but Mom agrees that she is not the Frankie of the Grace and Frankie.
People never bring up the story where they're like, my friend says I'm like this character, unless they're like, they're happy about the comparison.
Oh, 100%. And like, Mom keeps like insisting that she's a free spirit. And I keep telling her like, you can vouch for me on this one, but when I came to visit you in Michigan right before the pandemic happened, I sent my family a picture of us going like, hey, we're here, I'm alive, my plane touched down safely. And do you remember what the very first thing when my mom texted me back was? I was like, complain to you about it.
Didn't she give you shit about your hair?
Yes. Told me to cut my hair.
Yeah.
Not even I'm glad your plane touched down safely. She told me to cut my hair. So I basically said, like, that's why you're not Frankie. It's because Frankie doesn't give a shit about people's hair. She would have, like, you're Grace. You're not Frankie, Mom. So she still insists. But we all know that she's not Frankie. Anyways, that's me shitting on my mom to a public audience. But yeah, she's fucking not Frankie for sure. How about you? Is your mom like any, does your mom like to compare herself to any characters?
She doesn't really watch a lot of TV herself, honestly.
Interesting.
She...
Have you ever been compared to, sorry, go ahead, what were you gonna say?
No, I don't know what I was gonna say. Yeah, I wasn't gonna compare, like, she, yeah, definitely doesn't compare herself to anything on TV. She doesn't really watch a lot of TV. Yeah, no, what I've been compared to, I don't know. I feel like I'm terrible at these. Like, literally, the show is, you ask me a question, and I go, I don't know, and then you answer, and I go to the next question. Like, I do it every episode, every week. I'm sorry.
Right, I mean, I'm a narcissist, so any chance for me to just, like, blab about, like, my thoughts is fine with me, don't get me wrong. I just don't want it to become, like, the Ian just talks about bullshit for, like, 5 hours show.
I have thoughts, I just... Bad at the, like, on the spot, like... Have you ever thought about which TV character you most resemble? Like, no.
Well, I'm not saying, like, who you actually resemble.
Compared to.
Who I've been compared to, yeah, because like I don't like to compare, first of all, people to TV show characters, because for me that strikes me as unhealthy, like breaching of like the fictional world with the unfictional world, you know, like people are
5-minute warning, by the way.
Yes. People are so much more difficult and like uncategorizable than TV shows will really let you do, like than TV shows are really able to do, because you know you have to have like certain threads that are consistent, or else the show just feels like chaos. But people are much more chaotic than TV show characters.
They're more complex than TV allows.
Yeah, like I mean, you know, good TV shows will allow those complex characters, but like, you know, there's also those people who are just like, why did this character do this thing that's so out of character for them? And it's just like, people act out of character plenty of the time. It's just like the different situations force different responses. But, you know, I've been compared to characters in TV shows before. So I'll tell you what, I'll give you time to think about this, or I'll ask you another question that you can also choose to answer. Has anyone ever compared your looks to like
somebody from TV?
Yeah, so I'm gonna real quick. I'll give you some time to think. I just want to say real quick, I was watching The New Girl with my roommate the one time, and then he compared me to Mitch from New Girl, which I was okay with because Mitch gets laid, but I was like, nah, dude, I don't get laid. Like,
that ain't me at all. Well, was he comparing your looks or who you are?
Who I was, like my personality to like Mitch. I think Mitch is the main character from The New Girl.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember the characters' names, but I think you're right.
Okay, yeah, but I like that show a lot though. But yeah, my roommate said I was basically a Mitch from New Girl, which I'm okay with, because I like that character.
Yeah, I've watched some of that show. I liked it, what I saw.
Very funny. So go ahead. Did you come up with any answers for the two questions I?
Who I look like? I'm just basic. I don't think anyone ever has. Who do I look like?
Oh,
Chat.
not even like a.
Who do I
you
look
never
like?
had a stranger come up to you and like.
I've had people like be like, "You look like this guy from the musician or this guy from this show," and then they show me, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is that? I've never heard of that person." What are you watching?
Did they end up look that? Did you end up looking? Did you agree with them that you sort of looked like that?
Maybe somewhat, yeah. I don't remember who it was though. It was some like 2-minute warning, by the way. It was, I think it was a musician, and it was somebody I'd never heard of, so I don't remember the name. God, I'm so bad at this. I'm gonna get better at this. I swear.
All right. I'm gonna say my answer to that question as well, and I say these not both because I'm a narcissist, but also in the hopes that it'll jog your memory. But I've had a lot of people compare me to Hugh Grant.
Okay.
Specifically, I was working in the restaurant, and then I had like seriously like a woman from a table that I wasn't even waiting on run up to me in the middle of service and like show me a picture of Hugh Grant on her phone and be like, "You look like Hugh Grant." And it's like a picture of Hugh Grant, and he's like looking down and laughing, and I was like, okay, yeah, that picture 100% looks like me. I totally get it, but also Hugh Grant in general does not look like me. I would say I am not nearly as good looking as Hugh Grant is.
I can see some comparisons. I can see some like.
Yeah.
I could see like why somebody might say that. You know.
100%. Yeah.
Occasionally, someone's like, "You look like this," and you're like, "What? In what world do I look like that?" But no, I can see that one.
I could see it, yeah. No, I get it, and like we also sort of sometimes have a similar personality of just being very but
30 seconds.
Most part.
Although we could, I don't know if we just stop dead or if we finish like the coloring. We're close.
We're finishing coloring, I think. I think we can
I'd
like.
say we finish it up. We pretty much hit at least keeping us on track.
Yeah. I've also, so like when I was teaching whitewater, or not teaching like when I was doing like whitewater rafting trips for folks,
Yeah.
I did once have a different trip. Like sometimes if your trip is really small, which you sometimes get stuck with, because like for a lot of the rafting trips, you generally get a group of 120, and there's 4 guides to like keep track of that many people.
Yeah.
And you have a system set up so that it doesn't become overwhelming, but sometimes I feel like more guides is definitely more helpful, just to kind of keep things moving more smoothly. But anyways, if you have a smaller trip, you like have folks who are like having a hard time paddling, who are just slow in general, etc., etc. Usually you like let a bigger group pass by if they're like, it's kind of like letting someone play through in golf, you know?
Right.
So the one time like we did that, like we had a tiny trip, and so there was a bigger trip, and they were like going faster than us. We let them pass through, and then I'm just standing there, and then all of a sudden, and like this is not true at all, like what she compared me to, like I don't agree at all, but it was flattering. But I'm standing there, and then all of a sudden this like lady who is, I believe she was Chinese, And she did not speak very much English, but she's just passing by and she goes, "Oh, hello, you're so handsome, you look like Brad Pitt." And then she just passed by and I was like, "What the fuck?" But I don't agree.
Hell, thank you so much. Come back here.
Exactly.
We need to hang out.
Yeah, please come back. I need to hear this some more. What about me looks like Brad Pitt? Because I don't
She
agree.
just thinks all white guys look the same.
I think so.
Which is...
Because I'd also been compared to somebody, like some other person who was from India compared me to another white person who just didn't look like me at all. But I was like, I'll take it. I don't remember who that person was though. I think it was like the Adam Driver or something like that. Although I could also kind of see, like, if I have this facial hair, Adam Driver has this facial hair sometimes in some movies. I think this is all he can grow, just like me.
Yeah, I can't think of any offhand of people who compared me to something. They're just like, hey, you don't look like anyone. You're nothing.
That's good. I actually hate being compared to... It's like, you know when your art is compared to, like, other people's art?
Yeah.
And it's, like, whenever I, like, show someone my music, a lot of times I'll hear either it sounds like the Gorillaz or it sounds like Adult Swim. And, like, that's fine. I don't mind. But it is all I ever hear.
Yeah.
Which can be... It just gets a little old. But I'm not mad about it. Don't get me wrong.
Understandable.
But I feel like if someone doesn't have that for you, then you've got your own niche that you're carving out.
Anyone in the chat is drawing Lizard Mom. We'll be moving on from this probably within the next few minutes.
Yeah.
If you wanna share it with us, which I hope you do, because we love people's art. We have a Discord that you should definitely join if you haven't already. Please join that. DrawBomb Discord. The link is below.
We can also do this. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There it is. Join that baby. Throw it in the. There's a section in there that we recently added. What is the title, Ian?
DrawBomb along.
DrawBomb along, and draw there, and we'll show your stuff on the air if you want us to. And, I mean, if you post it in there, we'll assume that you want us to.
Yeah, I think that's a good assumption. You can post with your drawing and be like, please don't show this. I'm so embarrassed, and we won't. We'll respect your privacy. But then you've also still posted it in a public forum. So
right. So what the hell is wrong with you? Is what we're getting at. But yeah, we're trying to do some more engagement with the viewers. It'd be a lot more fun for us, and hopefully fun for you guys too. So yeah.
Like we saw it, we were like, this is successful, but also it just looks like a shit ton of fun, and that's more the reason why we started pursuing it.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you have to say about your lizard mom?
She's a stereotype.
You know, we don't know the backstory. She might be very independent, strong. It doesn't matter if she also wears this Looney Tunes mom outfit.
Yeah, she's legitimately like just taken right out of Looney Tunes. Not winning any feminism points here, I gotta say.
Well, lizard feminism still has a long way to go.
That's true. And I am...
I don't need to like drag that out for 10 minutes.
I know, right? That's what I'm just gonna say at the start of like a 15-minute period. I'm gonna be like, and
Your voice box is going to explode.
Yeah, I know. Just rupture like he tried to do a frog thing and it just didn't work out for him.
And he died.
Died how he lived. Just extending a word way longer than it needed to be. Alright, I'm officially done.
Okay, I'll be done in under a minute. I'm just doing one more touch here and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Right.
You can start chipping away at a new prompt if you'd like, or like start searching for a new one, and I can do the same. Maybe we could once again, a lot of these things require more people kind of being in the chat talking with us. But we could potentially do polls and like put a few options, and then people can vote on what we draw, and so on.
That poll functionality.
It works. I mean, I can do it through OBS pretty easily.
True. Usually mods have the ability to do, like, it's weird because I know when we were like messing with our DrawBomb settings like way back and we were doing like the SpongeBob like watch party,
Yeah.
like I modded myself in
You're not a
DrawBomb.
mod now?
Yeah,
Yeah, you are.
I'm not a mod. I don't have any of the functionality.
Well,
Can't
what
do
the?
anything. Can't ban
What the
anybody.
heck?
Okay, sure. We got a.
What the heck is this about? Twitch?
What? the
Jeff
heck?
Bezos must have done this.
God damn it.
He's fighting back. Well, I'll deal with that later, I guess.
I'm gonna click 3 more prompts from the aesthetic generator.
Yeah, let's see what you get in there. I think there's some pretty successful lizard moms. Let me save this.
Okay.
Mine's a strong, independent, single lizard mom with her lizard baby.
Oh, I forgot the color of my rolling pin. Can I color that in?
You
real quick? Is it
definitely
too
can.
late?
No, it's not too late. It's never too late until it is.
Alright, and done.
Great. Great. Lizard moms.
I like how your lizard mom has like a worm tongue.
Yeah, it's not very lizard-like, is it? It's fun
I'm
to
also
look at,
not
though.
sure. I'm not sure what's popping the tail off of your lizard
I don't
baby.
know. I just figured it's a
That's a nice
baby. It
touchstone,
hasn't
I like
fully gotten control of the mechanism that detaches the tail. Do you think for lizards it's like a amount of stress on the tail that pops it off, or is it like if you're running from some dogs and you throw your lunch onto the ground so that they eat that instead of you, and you can just be like, you think real hard as a lizard, you go and then just pops off. Boop!
You know, I'm
Leave it
not
behind.
sure the exact scenarios that it works. I feel like it's because it's pretty like it's a well-known fact. Like, you know, lizards can pop their tails off and grow a new one. So I
Yeah.
think like I think it's kind of like it's like, you know how like if a dog starts to like its leg gets trapped, it'll like chew its leg off, but it won't grow
Yes.
the leg back. I think it's like that, but it's like it will grow its tail back. I think that's how it works.
Right, but the dog has to actively chew through it. The lizard,
Yeah,
they don't like
well-
reach back and like yank it apart. It just comes off.
you know that for sure.
I do know that for sure. I do. That part I do know.
Okay.
The lizard just like it's like doing, you know how lizards run. You've seen it.
Yeah.
We've all watched hours of lizards running
Have you ever
on
watched
YouTube.
you ever watched a video of like a lizard's tail just like booping off?
Yeah, and sometimes I think sometimes it just comes off when they're like a squid trying to run away and it like sprays its ink. It's like I think it's like a mechanism. It's not necessarily something grabs its tail and then comes off. And it's like I think it's a pretty clean cut too, which I don't understand how it's possible.
They got those segments in their
They
belly.
must have
so I'm
segments. Yeah.
Not sure.
Strange.
Look, I'm not a reptileologist. I'm
No,
sure
me
there's a
neither.
fucking word for that.
All right, let's figure out the next prompt.
All right, so I generated my 3 that we can choose from, and I'll let you pick which one you like the most. But you grab 3 prompts from your art prompt, and we will.
I will.
There's also like the art prompts website. They have the challenges are just like other.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. One more. All right. I have my 3. I'm gonna go with dwarf accountant. Dwarf accountant.
Okay. My 3 prompts are feminine lover, sports machine, and alien bro. I think alien bro is pretty
Alien
great.
bro. So how do we pick which one? I mean, alien bro or dwarf accountant. These are both.
Fuck.
These are both decent ones.
I'll roll d6.
There we go.
Even numbers or yours?
Sure.
3. Okay,
Alright.
so
Alien bro it is.
and we'll do dwarf accountant next, because why the fuck not?
Sure. All right. Put the timer back up. And wait, let me change the prompt thing up here. No, Dwarf Accountant just wasn't meant to be. Or we could do it next, either way. Alien Bro. Did you hear in the news aliens are real now? Apparently. I just hear people
Apparently.
talk about it a lot.
Yeah, there's like that whole like UFO thing.
Mhm.
Oh my god. My iTunes.
I mean, I've always suspected they're real, but I didn't think they were hanging out here. They got better things to do, right? What are they doing here?
I could
How are
not
we
tell you.
contributing to their situation at all?
How are we contributing to alien brociety, you know?
That's right. Alright, I'm gonna start the timer now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, what do aliens have to do here besides just, like, loot our planet? If they can get here,
Yeah,
they
like-
already don't need us for anything.
Yeah, and if I were aliens and I saw how we acted, I'd be like, leave them. We don't need this shit.
Yeah, it's like, I'm good.
Wow.
Thanks. So I just went to open my iTunes again because I was like, you know, I got it working pretty alright last time without it messing up, but my iTunes is telling me my library is damaged and all the work I've been doing curating my music might be gone. So,
That sounds terrible.
I don't get it. I'm just gonna restart my computer after we do the stream and see if that fixes
if you need to do anything like before the stream's over, feel free to do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I don't know. My computer's being fucking weird.
Stay here and flounder. Alien Bro.
Alien Bro.
We're all just kind of alien bros if you think about it, man.
This is true. Have you ever watched any particularly broy movies?
No, I never have. No, I'm just kidding. I can answer some questions. Broy movies. So, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like they were very popular when we were younger. You know, it was very
For sure,
the
like,
road trip
your
type
dude-
movies. The like,
Dude, Where's My Cars?
yeah, Dude, Where's My Car? It is very much broy, but it was kind of like,
Dumb Bros.
Maybe
Like, I'm
somewhat.
making fun of bros for most.
yeah, making fun of that thing. But there were like the American Pie kicked it off.
Oh, for sure.
The very like, and while those movies are very broy, they maybe have a little more heart than some of the other equivalents. But
This is true, yeah.
but still, yeah, I think that kicked off. American Pie did so well when it came out that it kicked off a whole generation of similar movies. So I've seen like a lot of those because they're very. There's tons of them. When we were younger.
I saw a movie fairly recently that was like pretty broy, and when I say fairly recently, I mean like within the last 3 years. So if you consider that recent, you know,
Yeah, I do.
whatever.
Time is flying
But
past me at a scary rate. So yeah, 3 years is
yeah,
not that
I
long.
mean that feels like yesterday to me. But it was called like, I forget what it was called, but basically it was it was supposed to be like a horror movie set in like a fraternity, like during like initiation week or whatever. But it was I forget what it was called. It wasn't good. Don't get me wrong. But basically, like it's initiation week. They're throwing like this huge party. It's a bunch of like, it's like the fraternity of jock bros. And they're all very broy. And then it's also like the sorority like comes by and they're gonna like party too. And it's like also it's found footage, so like somebody's like filming the setup, and then like the party, and then the eventual like horror scenario that happens. But then like what they do is like they're in the house, and then they find like a hidden room that's like full of mirrors and like some weird artifact, and then when they do something with the artifact, like they move the artifact or whatever, it sets off like this like ghost that starts like killing everyone and taking their eyes or whatever, and then like
Oh, man.
that's the
Doesn't
end of the
sound like a
movie.
good party at all.
No, it was a bad party. Everyone died. but it was a very broy movie, but it was also interesting because it was kind of like, nah, but these, like, before, like, all the horror stuff happens, they, like, start setting up relationships. They do, like, the normal stuff that horror movies do, where, like, they start establishing the lives outside of the horror scenario so that it's that much more gutting when, like, they get murdered, because you're like, oh,
They get gutted.
now I know that bro number 3 is studying to become a lawyer, and he actually wants to leave the bro lifestyle.
You know, he wants out.
Yeah, and like bro number 2 actually has feelings for sorority girl number 1, and they're actually like kind of cute together, and then they die. But you know,
Get you interested in the characters so that it actually means something when they die.
yeah, that was the one thing the movie did right. The rest of the movie was pretty. I mean, overall the movie is pretty lame though. I can't really give it any good marks or anything like that. How about you? Have you seen anything like
Would you say
recently?
Fast and Furious counts as broy movies, or
I mean, Fast and Furious movies are definitely broy movies.
they're like action parody though? I think instead of they're broy, but
They're
I mean, are we
broy.
talking like house party movies, college movies? Like, is that?
I'll let you set the metric for like what bro means in this scenario for the sake of conversation.
If they're authentically broy without being ironic about it, which I feel like Fast and Furious, there was a time. It was like a spectrum. There was a time when they took themselves serious. There was a time when they were kind of maybe not sure where they were, and now they are fully embracing what they are.
Yeah. Although I still don't think they're parodying themselves. I think they're being very much earnest, but they also know that the real like fun from their movies comes with how ridiculous they get. So it's like they have all that bro stuff, and then I mean we've had this discussion before. We don't need to rehash this conversation.
Right. Well, there's a new one coming out real soon,
I'm so pumped.
and I might go to the theater for it. I don't know. It just feels right.
It's a theater movie for sure. I mean, when it comes out, depending on how things are, I might just travel to Michigan to see it in theaters with you guys.
We have 8.5
'Cause I feel
minutes,
like
by the way.
8.5 minutes, okay. I feel as attached to the Fast and Furious. I feel like the Fast and Furious movies for me are attached to like hanging out with you and Morgan in my mind now, because that was sort of when we really started to experience them.
You made us love them so much. Or you hadn't seen them.
I hadn't seen them, no. I was like,
That's
I
right.
asked Austin which was the best one to start with, and he said 4 or 5, whichever one we ended up watching, and it did not disappoint.
It's a great time.
It was a good ass time. I don't know what it was about 4. That was the one where they stole the bank vault. Just hit all the spots, I think, for like what we were looking for out of those movies,
How
though.
many people do you think died from the vault being dragged through the streets of the city?
You know, if we're talking the corrupt police officers that are chasing them, like 20, 30, maybe up to 50. We're talking like civilians who are walking.
Yeah, I'm just
around
talking
the street.
like a little kid leaving an ice cream shop with his ice cream cone, and then a fucking safe comes flying by at 100 miles an hour. And
You know, I feel like they showed them basically like everyone's like always like running out of the way and just barely surviving.
they do
A lot
that
of those
like 30
movies.
times during that sequence.
Yeah, but like I feel like there was also one moment, I don't remember if I'm remembering this right, but I feel like there was one moment where it definitely killed somebody, and then Vin Diesel and Paul Walker just kind of like, oh damn, and then they just keep on doing the thing that they were doing. I don't remember if that's true or not.
I don't remember either. I don't recall that, but it could very well be.
When I visit to watch Fast and Furious again, depending on how circumstances work out, I feel like we should do another marathon. Like we should actually marathon them. I don't know if that'd be too much work though.
You know, it sounds great, but I don't know if that next time you're out here, I don't know if that's how I want to spend the time. Is
I don't blame you.
'cause we don't get to hang out in person that often. I don't know if I'd want to spend like 12 hours of it rewatching the Fast and Furious movies again. At least
That's
not
fine.
yet. Maybe down the road if it's later on.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I totally understand. They are, because I mean, like, what it is like each movie is like 2.5 hours, something like that. It is like,
Yeah.
you gotta buckle up and strap
do.
in. Gotta get that stock second popped collar in there.
We have just over about 5.5 minutes right now.
All right. Speaking of bro culture, would you say you're good at beer pong?
Not exceptionally, but decent. I've played my fair share.
Okay.
Over the years. I feel like I do pretty good.
What are your? I feel like I do not great because okay, so I've been playing a lot of darts lately and I've been getting better at darts, where I actually like can hit the target sometimes and I get close most of the time if I'm having like a good day. But I feel like when it comes to beer pong, I'm just like I've played a lot, but I'm never quite hitting the mark when it comes to that game. I haven't played in some time though, so you know maybe things are different now. I don't know. Maybe I'm more in control of my body.
Maybe.
But when you play beer pong, what are like the rules? Like, do you guys like if the ball? Do you guys have like your beers separate from the cups that the balls are going into?
Definitely. Unfortunately, that took. I don't know why that took years and the world's best scientists to come up with, because there were many years back in high school where we played it just like in someone's garage and like fucking ball just bouncing around like through cobwebs and shit. Then you dip it in some water and then you go right back to playing, and it's disgusting. Why do we not just think you just have the cups are stand-ins? It makes me so mad that we didn't think of it. It's like the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah, my trajectory is very much the same. Like I've eaten I drank a few hairs playing like dumb rules games of beer pong. But I feel like everyone sort of collectively came to the realization of no, we just use stand-in cups. Like
it's so obvious. God, stupid. No, other than that, everything I did at that age was very intelligent. So that's just very out of character for me. I'm surprised.
Yeah, how old were you before you feel like you stopped being a dumbass?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I feel like I'm still kind of there.
Same. But like sometimes like I think like I'm dumb now, but also then I think about like the shit I was doing when I was like 21 through 27.
For
I'm
sure.
just like,
I cringe
what the fuck
so
was
hard.
I thinking?
I try not to think about those times because it makes me cringe a lot. But I think I look at that as a good thing. I look at that as growth. I feel like if you look back at yourself in high school and go, "Fuck yeah, it was cool," that's a bad sign.
100%.
But if you look back and you go, "Oh, that's obnoxious," then good on you. You're growing as a person.
You're growing.
You have 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
But yeah, I feel like I was a fucking dumbass. Like, and I feel bad for like people who put up with me, like during those times. Like, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I still know the people and like they still choose to hang out with me from like when I was like that. Cause then I think about like my friends, and I feel like they weren't doing the dumb shit like the stuff that was as dumb as I was doing, and I'm not sure if that's just me looking at their interactions with rose-colored glasses or if I was actually so stupid.
I imagine, if they liked you, then they liked you. You don't need to try to talk them out of that. But yeah, I don't know. I imagine they probably feel the same way. Most of the time that you have a way that you feel and you feel like you're the only one that feels that way, you're usually wrong.
This is true, 100%.
But it's best not to think about that. But when I do, it will be the middle of the night, and I'll be laying in bed. Like, and my face will actually cringe and contort as I think of these things, even though it's just in my head.
There's this really great clip from The Amazing World of Gumball, where it's like going through Gumball's like life in the future, and like it's like moments that haven't happened yet in the show. I think, like it's like going to his like wedding, and he's like, "Wow, this is the happiest moment of my life." Hey, remember when you? And then his face just like goes, And, like, he just like cringes, and it does that like over the course of like 4 pivotal moments in his life, like his marriage, like the birth of his kid or whatever, and etc. etc. And he's just like, all of a sudden his voice is just like, hey, remember when you, and then his face just goes like, and like glass
I really
shatters.
need to watch through that show. Like, I've seen clips and I like a lot of what I see. I haven't really just like binged through it.
It's you know, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I wrote an article about it, but I'll just say it in person. But there's so much good animation that's like quote unquote for kids, but it's like still funny for adults,
Yeah.
and like that's awesome.
I think the
Because,
secret
like-
is that the best animation is made for everybody.
Exactly.
And it's tame enough for kids, but it's not just made for them.
Yeah, like adults can still get a lot from, like, you know, I love adult cartoons, like, don't get me wrong, but also a lot of like adult cartoons, particularly in like, you know, America, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of cartoons that are like, we're a cartoon for adults, they're just like, hey, what if like the main character just says like fuck and like
Yeah, they
shits
like
himself all the time.
overly raunchy for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. They're like compensating for like the fact that like, oh, word.
Yeah.
I feel like unfortunately like Family Guy, because like
Yeah.
Family Guy was very raunchy, and at the time it was very like Family Guy was also smart when it was first coming out. Like they were doing a lot of like sort of parodying conventions of like sitcoms and things like that.
Right.
And that's kind of like why the raunchiness played into it, is because like, oh, it's like, what if, you know, Scooby Doo, but they swear or blah 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 blah. I feel like a lot of cartoons took away from the success of Family Guy, being like, oh, they say fucking poop and shit, and then that's what, you know, sells it. So that they kind of steal that without stealing like the.
Yeah, I do think that is kind of what encouraged that type of thing to be so common. And yeah, it's kind
And it's
of.
not like the creators. It's really usually like the higher ups who make those decisions for like, let's make the show like this.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Probably true. I don't know either. But
I
yeah,
don't look into it.
it's a
Animation
bummer
industry.
when people compensate to try to make you feel a certain way. It's like just make your show. I'll feel how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Well, like your alien bro, he's very much like the traditional alien style, but he's got those gains. He's beefy.
He's got them gains, bruh. Those Charlotte gains, bruh. Got those Sergio gains, bruh. Sorry, I'm
like
just
to
stealing
think that our
Kenny jokes now.
what?
I was just stealing Letterkenny jokes there for a second.
Gotcha. I like to think that our alien bros are friends or bros.
Oh yeah, like I feel like these are the 2 main characters in like the Alien Bros cartoon. Or whatever.
Animal House. Well, I guess Animal House. I don't know. If that's bros. It's a different
Animal
generation
House
of
is like
bros.
pre-bro, I would say. Like,
It's you know, bro. They're bros of every generation. They were just different things.
it's vintage bro.
Yeah.
Although the interesting thing about Animal House is that the main dude who is like the head of the Animal House is like not actually all that bro-y. He's just sort of like a weird mastermind who's just like, he plays golf and he like speaks with his friend. He's just like, ah, yes, what about these folks over here? Maybe we should get drunk. And it's
After thinking about my answer a little bit, they aren't really the bros. The bros in Animal House is the other house that they're like rivals
that's
with.
true, actually.
The preps,
You're right.
like the preppy type.
The preps are the bros.
That's when, yeah, that used to be the bros. Now
Now they've kind of intermeshed and made a horrible like hybrid baby of bros. So
Yeah.
that's sort of like the bros who are the preps watched Animal House and were just like, nah, dude, I'm totally John Belushi, man.
yeah,
And
they
then like
created a
while still being like the Kevin Bacon looking motherfucker. Like,
you know. So we're just dissecting the bro here on DrawBomb.
we really did. Yeah, which, you know, that should be. I mean, we don't have time, but like, what if, you know, like Area 51 footage of like the alien getting like, you know, Area 51 footage of the alien getting like dissected on the operating table. Like they should
It's a bro.
Like that. It's this bro, and like they're pulling out like cans of Natty Ice or whatever.
That's a great drawing. That would have been a great way to go with it.
Yeah, I
you
think
thought
so.
of it now.
What if we could just do that as the title card for the next episode?
It's true.
Although we've also done several title. Well, okay. Do our title cards always have to include the DrawBomb? Because I almost feel like that's.
I don't think anything has to be any certain way.
You know, I like that. I like that vibe.
It's our
You're a real
goddamn
Frankie,
show.
you know that? You're a real free spirit. You got real Frankie energy going.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I try to channel Frankie in everything I'd say.
I love in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, they had like one of the secret levels, or the secret level in the game was Area 51, and there was like a secret area you could find in the secret level where if you went in there, like you could see like a picture along one of the walls of like the an alien being dissected, and he's going like ah, which is very funny.
I do remember that. Couldn't you play as him, or as an alien, or is that not?
And I don't think in the original Tony Hawk game you could only play as like Tony Hawk and like 9 other skaters.
No, but there's some unlockables. You could unlock a cop. You could unlock. I thought you could unlock a cop. Let me see.
I know you can unlock Star Wars characters. Yeah, look
Tony Hawk bonus. They're secret characters.
Has to be the first one, and it has to be not the remaster, which I also want to play so bad.
It's pretty great. They did a really good job. I heard they're working on like a new. I'm sure they're gonna base it like off the same engine that they rebuilt, but they're making a brand new one.
That's cool. I mean, I love the Tony Hawk series, although I hope they've managed to figure out how to move past it being an aero balancing game.
Right. I know. It's like, how do you change that without like cutting out the whole fan base that made it popular to begin with? Maybe you don't, you know, because
maybe you don't. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you
make a different game. But if you're making Tony Hawk games, they're already that type of game, you know.
The hard thing about the Tony Hawk games is they're kind of like, how else do you do like balancing a grind aside from like balancing an arrow? Because that like makes sense as like a gameplay mechanic. But like, you know, other games have avoided doing that, but that's because they also have much more realistic. Because like in real life, you can't like grind a 1,000-meter long pole and like jump off and do like a kickflip and then fall 900 feet into like a McBurial or whatever. But you know, in Tony Hawk you can, because the fun of those games was the fact that you shoot up like 900 feet into the air off of a half pipe, and that's fine.
Right.
You know, how do you reconcile like that sort of breaking of the reality without like making the game super? I don't know.
They seem to be, anybody who's attempted it makes like this impossibly hard. Not impossibly hard. Some people get it down, but like it seems to be a game that's like working the controller is like the equivalent of like playing an instrument or something. If you're gonna skate in the game, it'd be easier to learn actual skating probably than some of these games.
True.
But it's cool that they're trying to like do something, I suppose. But yeah, it's strange. I wasn't able to find a clear answer. I could if I wanted to dig in more, but basically, I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 or a combination of the two. But at least between 1 and 2, the originals, you can unlock an alien and you can unlock a cop, and I think Spider-Man was one that you could be, or that might have been later. But they had unlockable characters that you had to like beat enough stuff and you get.
Yeah. I know you could be Boba Fett, and I think Darth Maul in Tony Hawk 3.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are you done with your alien, bro? I like it.
Real quick, Leviathan Den says, the Suicide Machines' New Girl was one of the best THPS songs, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater songs. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. I just remember Psycho Vision and the one where it's like Superman.
Yeah.
That one band.
Gold.
The Grind Session was a knockoff skating game that tried to compete and had a much better soundtrack that introduced me to underground rap musicians like Dr. Octagon. My brother was telling me about Dr. Octagon way back in college, actually. Or maybe it was like 5 years ago. I don't remember. It was it was released, I guess. Wow.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never
was a big Octagon fan.
played a Grind Session, but No, I don't know. I'm all for people kind of capturing the feel of skating a little bit better.
Yeah, me too.
Tony Hawk's very like arcadey, but accessibility is also not a bad thing. It makes things fun.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be able to play the
hop in.
I think the skate games were pretty fun. I never got a chance to truly sit down with them to get good at them, but I enjoyed what they were doing with the skate games. I never played any Tony Hawk's past Underground 1, so I mean, you know, whatever they were doing with Underground 2, the one that had like My Name is Earl in it, and
right.
all those like later Tony Hawk games, I never really played those. But I definitely want to play the new one. I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I'm gonna upload our drawings to the draw along just so in case any of our viewers want to do it later.
Yeah.
They don't have to do it
Guys
right
wanna
now
catch
during the
up?
show. We'll show up future episodes for sure. Maybe we should
for sure.
write something in there too, just so anybody finds it later. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you
just a
already.
little blurb.
Cool. Yeah, nice. Well, that was fun.
That was fun. Dr. Octagon was way ahead of his time. His stage persona was alien gynecologist, which made him really strange for the time, but his stuff is incredible. Yeah, I remember like when I was traveling home from Philly to visit the family, like my brother showed us the Dr. Octagon, me and my girlfriend at the time, the Dr. Octagon alien gynecologist album, which was something to behold.
It's a funny concept.
It is. He really goes for it, if I remember correctly. I think he really like he goes all in on that sort of concept too. I think it's like a concept album or something like that. I don't totally.
I'll have to look into his stuff.
Yeah. I'm also gonna post a link to the generator. Somewhere.
Links, or you post it in here. Yeah.
I posted it in the draw along.
Yeah, maybe write a comment just letting people know that if they want to draw along, we'll show it on future episodes, you know, or whatever. I don't know. But, Ian, do you have anything to plug?
Gosh. You know, I'll let you do the DrawBomb plug, but me personally, check out Extra Attack. Wednesday, starting around 7, I want to say. It's basically me and like 5 friends playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then we recorded it like weeks ago, and then we're just, you know, we gave ourselves a little bit of time, not enough time in my opinion, but we gave ourselves some time to sort of get a backlog going, and so you can check that out at Extra Attack RPG.
It's good stuff. And also subscribe to Ian's Twitch page.
Oh yeah, my Twitch. It's just Top Cat Yo.
Top Cat Yo. It's right there. You're looking at this right here above me. No, below you.
Is it below me?
Yeah. There. It's right there. Subscribe to that. Ian's usually on most mornings during the week doing some stuff.
Most mornings. Sometimes my parents are like, hey, can you help us with a thing? And then I go do the thing, and then like all I'm really doing is I'm sitting there on my phone as like somebody else is like drilling bits of wood, and then I'm like, I could have still done my thing. But it's whatever. I'm happy to spend time with my family.
There you have it. For me, I do a Twitch show as well. It's called DrawBomb. I do it Mondays at 8 o'clock. And
stupid.
Oh man, it's not. It's real good. And you should check that out. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I have an Etsy shop you should check out. It's under Paperbag Creative. I have an Instagram where we post all our stuff by the same name, paperbag_creative. Yeah, so check that out. Buy some stuff. We have Father's Day cards right now. Buy them.
Father's Day cards
for your dad. Your dad deserves it. I don't know him, but I'm assuming he deserves it.
If he deserves it, you probably wouldn't. If he didn't deserve it, you probably wouldn't be in the market for a card.
Right. I mean, you could write a mean message inside the card if you want to. That's up
true.
to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Like, Fuck you.
I hate you. Yeah. So check that out. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, so we'll do the closing theme song and do a raid after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Start taking a little peeky.
I was gonna do maybe we can raid I Can Be Danny.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll do the theme and then you can tell me about them.
I'll message you what you got.
Boom.